The UK and the Republic of Ireland have recently confirmed that they're going to be the hosts of Euro 2028. Whenever there's a major international tournament, we see that it brings a bunch of people together. They put our differences aside, and then even people who don't usually care about sport or football get involved as well, which is just fantastic. So having the tournament in the UK and the Republic of Ireland is only going to make that better. And then also, more from the football side of things, the thought of some of the potential matchups we could see are just, they're unbelievable. I mean, the idea of like an Ireland derby between Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland, that sounds unbelievable. And then England versus Scotland, which we've seen a few times, even England versus Ireland, they all sound like absolutely electric fixtures. And for that reason, I can't wait for this tournament. But that being said, being the pessimist I am, I still have one or two issues with it, and that is where the game's being played. So I'm just going to start off by going through the 10 stadiums which have been announced to be where the games are going to be hosted. And those are Wembley Stadium, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, the Etihad, the Everton Stadium, St James's Park, Villa Park, the Principality Stadium, Hampden Park, the Aviva Stadium, and Casement Park. My main issue is more to do with some of the English stadiums selected. I don't really have any issues with the Welsh, Scottish or Irish selections, besides Casement Park, which is currently under major redevelopment, which is sort of behind schedule, and there's reports about sort of like lack of funding and a bunch of other stuff. It's sort of tied in with like the Gaelic Football Association. It's a very confusing situation generally, but hopefully they get that sorted in time, because right now it looks like the Village Park. It does. But in terms of my issues with the English stadiums picked, I think it's lacking some representation for major English footballing cities. The likes of Sheffield and Leeds aren't in here. They've also picked two stadiums in London, and I understand why they've done it. Obviously, Wembley being the home of the English national team, and then Spurs being one of the best stadiums in the world. But I feel like they could have used one of those spaces to represent a different side of English football. They could have given it to someone like Ellen Road, which I think would be great for hosting European games. I also don't fully understand why they haven't picked Old Trafford. Obviously they picked the Etihad instead to represent Manchester, or just do both of them. I don't know why they've just done the Etihad. Obviously Old Trafford that's a proper historic stadium. If you think English football, you're going to think Old Trafford, and I don't really like how they've picked a number of these more, I don't know how quite to say it, sort of corporate stadiums, like the ones like Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, like the new £1 billion super high-tech stadiums. I feel like a huge part of the football identity of England is sort of these old school stadiums, your Hillsboroughs, your Bramall Lanes, your Elland Roads, Goodison Parks. And I sort of feel like they're trying to move away from that and take that element of the game away. And I just feel like they could have done a much better job representing that side of the English game. Also, they've picked the Everton Stadium, which is currently under like sort of early stages of construction. And I feel like with all the issues, with the hierarchy of Everton, this sort of stuff, even the possibility of them getting relegated and that totally changing the funding available to them, I think there's lots of things going on at Everton which could affect the development of that stadium. I just suppose there's a minor bit of risk associated with picking that, and I would have rather seen Goodison Park be picked. That being said, I do really like the additions of Villa Park and St James's Park. I feel like they're just two of the best stadiums in the country, and I can't wait to see international European football get played there. And then another thing which isn't really something I have an issue with, is something I find quite funny, is that England, like the FA, have asked that we still have to go through the normal qualification process and not just have straight automatic qualification, which most teams do if you're going to be the host nation. I suppose there is logic in it, because I think the whole idea is that means that we have to play competitive games as opposed to just playing friendly, so it means the squad's going to be more ready to going into like a competitive tournament. But obviously there is some element of jeopardy that England may not even qualify for the tournament that they're jointly putting on, which is just a really funny thought. And a really, really small part of me sort of desperately wants us not to qualify, just to see like the chaos it would cause. That England have finally got to be able to host a major international tournament, and then it's all just gone wrong. But yeah, in terms of England's chances of winning that tournament, you have to think that in 4.5 years' time when this happens, players like Harry Kane would probably have been phased out of the squad, and younger players would have come through. But then, on the other side of that, players who are currently younger right now, I know Bukayo Saka, Marcus Rashford, Jude Bellingham, Phil Foden. All these players are going to be in their absolute primes, and I really feel like at that point we're probably going to have one of the best squads in the tournament. This is the best chance England are going to have for a very long time, just to go and win the tournament with the home advantage they're going to get as well. That being said, I do think we'll get knocked out in the quarterfinals by someone like France, as that seems to happen every time we do international tournaments. But yeah, that's just my quick thoughts on the announcement, and thanks for watching.